The Lakefront heist. How an HOA president turned my property into her profit machine. When I stepped off the plane from a 2-week trip to Israel, I expected jet lag and a quiet evening by my lakefront home in upstate New York. Instead, I found a makeshift marina on my property, complete with a sign reading Premium Lake Access, $25 per day, and strangers lining up to pay. My wife, Ellen, gripped my arm as we watched in disbelief. The mastermind? Patricia Hensley, our HOA president, had turned my biggest investment into her cash cow while I was 6,000 miles away. What she didn't know was that her scheme violated federal law and I wasn't about to let it slide. My name's Jack Reynolds, a 52-year-old retired Marine turned contractor. Ellen and I bought our lakefront home 8 months ago, stretching our budget for the serene view and private dock. It was our dream after years of service and sacrifice. But as we stood there, suitcases at our feet, watching Patricia count cash like a carnival barker, I realized our dream was under siege. Neighbors who'd waved us off for our combined business trip and honeymoon now clapped for Patricia's community initiative. Only one, George Miller, a retired principal, looked uneasy, avoiding my gaze. I marched toward Patricia, my military training keeping my temper in check. "This is my property," I said, pointing at the dock. "I'm still paying the mortgage." She flashed a saccharine smile, tapping her clipboard. "Jack, welcome back. We've made community improvements while you were away. The neighborhood voted for a lakefront sharing program. It's been a hit." She showed me a stack of papers, supposedly official HOA documents claiming community easement rights over my land. "An emergency meeting had passed this while I was gone," she said, "because I chose to vacation during a critical decision period." Ellen and I were stunned. Patricia had waited until we were out of the country to commercialize our property, convincing our neighbors it was for their benefit. She even slapped me with a $2,400 fine, exactly my monthly mortgage, for retroactive maintenance fees. As we dragged our suitcases inside, I knew Patricia had underestimated me. My 6 years in the Marines taught me how to plan, document, and execute. This was war. The next evening, I attended Patricia's emergency ratification meeting at the community center, only to find it started 30 minutes early. She'd sent us the wrong time. Inside, Patricia ran a polished slideshow titled Maximizing Community Assets, outlining her plan to profit from my land. My neighbors sat in rows, lapping it up. When I pulled out my deed, she countered with a fake boundary survey and easement map, claiming my lakefront was under HOA control for neighborhood value. 6 of 7 neighbors voted for her Resolution 24A, stealing my property with a show of hands. George Miller, the holdout, stared at the floor. Patricia handed me an itemized bill, another $2,400 for dock installation and management overhead. As I fumbled the papers, one sheet floated out the window, landing on the lake like a taunt. "Payment due in 14 days, or we'll lien your property," she declared. That night, an envelope under our doormat revealed she'd filed county paperwork for emergency easement requirements. She wasn't just stealing, she was trying to make it legal. 3 days later, I went undercover. Dressed as a tourist in a baseball cap and sunglasses, I approached the dock, phone recording discreetly. Patricia's operation was a full-blown business: signage, a payment booth, and a reservation book packed for weeks. I paid $25 to access my property, biting back laughter as she handed me a glossy receipt with fake legal jargon. "We control this lakefront now," she bragged, thinking I was a satisfied customer. The new owner paid a premium, so he should share the wealth. Her words were gold-recorded evidence of her fraud. I photographed everything: signs, equipment, customers, all time-stamped with GPS. Her flyers advertised spring break lake parties for groups of 20+, turning my quiet retreat into a party hub. Overhearing her plan for pontoon rentals and holiday events, I knew she'd crossed into commercial fraud. My military instincts kicked in. Every operation has weak points. Hers was the dock itself, shoddily built for residential use, not commercial crowds. Saturday morning, I watched from my kitchen as Patricia's busiest day unfolded. 8 groups swarmed the dock, overloading its flimsy supports. By 10:30, it wobbled dangerously. Then, chaos. A kayak tipped, screams rang out, and the dock collapsed. Equipment floated away, and angry families demanded refunds. Patricia blamed the weather and customers, but her excuses fell apart. She refunded $400 and faced threats of lawsuits and county safety reports. From my window, I smiled. Karma was working overtime. I strolled over, feigning concern. "Everything okay, Patricia?" Her flustered excuses hinting at sabotage gave me more ammunition. She announced 24/7 security to prevent further issues, a desperate move that would only draw scrutiny. The disaster had exposed her operations flaws, and I was ready to widen the crack. Monday, I marked my property lines with white lime powder, a stark boundary no one could miss. At 10 a.m., I planted a "Keep Out" private property sign beside Patricia's commercial one. By noon, customers hesitated, spooked by the legal dispute. Patricia retaliated with a bigger sign, sparking a sign war that turned heads. Her hired security arrived Tuesday, but when I showed them my deed, they balked. 2 teams quit in 3 days, unwilling to trespass. Customers dwindled, and Patricia's premium experience crumbled. George Miller's support shifted the tide. Thursday, he hung a "Support Private Property Rights" banner on his porch. Neighbors, seeing the chaos, questioned Patricia's promises. By Friday, her bookings dropped 50%. She announced a community education meeting to clarify property rights, but I sensed a final desperate attack on my credibility. I countered with a barbecue, inviting neighbors to a welcome-back party. I borrowed a projector, claiming it was for vacation photos from Israel. 6 of 8 households showed up, eager for stories of Jerusalem and the Dead Sea. After 20 minutes, I pivoted. "There's been confusion about the lakefront," I said. "Let's clear it up." I played Patricia's recorded confession, showed her revenue charts, and displayed flyers for her party packages. Jaws dropped. George spoke first. "We owe Jack and Ellen an apology. Patricia used us to steal his land." The neighbors voted unanimously to oust Patricia as HOA president. When she crashed the party, hearing her voice admit to fraud, she paled. Her threats of lawsuits rang hollow against the evidence. George quipped she'd need a lawyer more than revenge. Neighbors tore up her fake HOA papers, using them as napkins, a perfect rejection of her lies. Sunday, the community rallied. Led by George, we dismantled Patricia's dock and signs, repurposing lumber for neighborhood projects. I smashed her premium lake access sign, replacing it with a hand-carved one reading, "This lake remembers." When Patricia returned with new security, neighbors formed a line, barring her from my land. Police arrived, confirming she had no legal claim. They warned her against trespassing again, a sweet validation of my fight. That evening, we grilled over a fire fueled by reclaimed dockwood. George, now HOA president, passed bylaws banning property commercialization without consent. Neighbors apologized, and our lakefront became the peaceful retreat we dreamed of. At 9 p.m., my phone rang. Patricia, from county jail, arrested for trespassing after one last attempt to reclaim her dock. She begged for a character reference. I walked to the lake, let her hear the water's gentle lap, and said, "The lake says no, Patricia." I tossed my old phone into the water, closing her chapter for good. Weeks later, George's audit uncovered Patricia's misuse of $3,000 in HOA funds for her scheme. Her husband paid restitution to avoid fraud charges. She faced fines, community service, and a ban from HOA rolls after pleading guilty to business violations, tax evasion, and Coast Guard regulation breaches. Our story spread, inspiring other homeowners to fight corrupt HOAs. Ellen and I joined property rights advocacy, turning our ordeal into a force for good. Our lakefront is ours again, a quiet haven for coffee and barbecues. The sign, "This lake remembers," stands as a testament to justice. Sometimes, standing up to bullies with evidence, grit, and neighbors pays off. What do you think about this story? Have you faced injustice or bullying in your community? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on how we should handle greed and unfairness. Your perspective matters.